This is Bliss Oasis. Change your thinking, change your life.
Like a year after the state of emergency was declared.
That should be
a lot of my.
That should be 1953.
Yeah, that is when I was born.
Ah.
You remember the state of emergency was declared in 1952.
Yes.
And I'm coming from the from where most of the Mau soldiers were coming from.
So welcome again to Bliss Oasis Africa, where we tell untold stories of everyday people. And today we have our second episode where we interview Mugo Theuri, a Kenyan journalist who have been out there, not only writing reports or stories, journalism, something he never trained in because he trained in something else, as we saw in the first episode. But he was somehow involved in the second liberation, during the struggle of the second liberation, during Moi days. And as we saw in the first episode, he suffered untold torture in Nyayo chambers after he was unceremoniously arrested in Nakuru, where he was a bureau chief of one of the newspapers, one of the leading mainstream media. And that's where we left last time. He had just come out of jail, according to his narration. He just come out of jail and he was trying to relive or to start his life anew. And that's where we are going to start from. And if our dear viewer, if you have not seen the first episode, you can still get it in this channel. You can either go there and watch and then come back to this channel, to this episode, or you can watch this episode and then go back to the other episode so that you can follow up the story. So welcome, and let's speak to Mugo Theuri. Mugo Theuri, karibu tena. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Patrick.
Yes, it's been quite some time. We'll be making appointments to do the second episode, but then, you know, things about life, sometimes you can't really plan, but I'm glad you are here now. You can continue giving us your story. The last time you had just arrived from Kodiaga. I think it was Kodiaga.
No, it was Kibos. It was Kibos.
Yes, you just arrived home from Kibos, and you hadn't had a fare even to take you back home to Nyeri, and you had to stop by Nakuru, spend with a friend who owed you some money.
Yes.
And that money was enough just to take you to Nyeri. So you can continue from there and tell us what happened.
Oh, well, look, okay. I left Nakuru, of course. I went to my home in Nyeri.
Yes.
I found my relatives waiting for me, my wife, my sisters, my wife, my mother, my sisters, and my brothers.
Yes.
Of course, and a few other close relatives. And I was very happy to be rejoined with them. Very, very excited. All of us were excited.
Yeah.
And now the next thing was to stay a bit, you know, relax, rest, and before I could go back to my professional, life.
Yes.
I stayed there for some months. Actually not months, because I was unable to get a job. Even after resting for that time, I was unable to get a job. We were even going to social places was a very difficult thing, because especially if I went to a bar, not many people wanted to be seen sitting with me.
Yes.
I was still dangerous.
Wow. Okay.
So sometimes I'd go to a bar, like mostly I went to White Rhino in Nyeri town.
Yes.
Apart from the owner of White Rhino, called Amos Wamonyo.
Yes.
He was a close friend of mine, a distant relative. In fact, he's the one who had presided over my fundraising to be able to go to college in Europe.
Okay.
So when I went to his place, he's the only one who would not be afraid to sit with me. When we got there, I would sit on a table on my own. my friends would be sending beer.
They will say, we send free beer, remote control.
Yeah. They don't want to come and sit with me. They buy beer from all directions.
Yeah.
But they don't want to come with me.
So they will send
to come and.
So they'll send beer and whisper among themselves and pointing at you.
Yeah, Yule, that one there, like 2 beers, 3 beers. But
Okay.
of course, there are some guys like the late White Mwangi. White Mwangi was the reporter in Nyeri.
Yes.
And he was mine from way back.
Mm.
So I benefited a lot from those episodes because we were bought 10, 20 beers. I can't drink all that.
So
yeah. So we normally by and by he got courageous enough to sit with me. So we would be. He was my constant company.
Okay.
On weekends, Wahome Mutahi would come from Nairobi and he would join with me together with his late brother Jugona Mutahi. But on weekends I used to do it a lot because at least I knew I would have company.
So here you are. So here you are, a very social person, extroverted person, and you're just sitting around having a lot of beers around you. How did you feel?
Having a lot of beers on my own, that's me here at a table full of alcohol.
Yeah. So how are you feeling without the company of your friends, but just a lot of beers?
Yeah.
Are you conversing with the beer?
Something you cannot, you cannot advise it because those days there were no televisions in the bars.
Yeah.
Maybe music, but the bar that White Rhino used to be that old system bar.
Yes.
It's not the place where there was music. So I would just be sitting there, enjoying looking at other people, but not talking to them.
Having your beer. So Wahome, maybe
Wahome would come on the weekends. Wahome Mutai, his brother, the late Jugona Mutai, Mado also used to come a lot. Mado, this is Paul Kalemba, the cartoonist.
The cartoonist. And they used to join you. They were not worried.
Yes, and his brother, Okoni, he's called Okoni, Isaac Okoni.
Oh.
He was working in Nyeri. And a few other, they got some courage when they saw the people coming from Nairobi, and they are not afraid of sitting with me. So they also got courage.
They got courage and started joining you.
Yeah, sure.
So you said you took a long time before you got a job.
Yes.
So where were you looking? Were you looking for a reporter's job, or you wanted to be a journalist, or were you looking for any job?
I was looking. No, I couldn't look for any job. I wanted to go back to the newsroom.
Okay.
But nobody wanted to give me a job. In fact, I tried to go back to the Standard, but I felt that I was not welcome. Even the people, the way they were treating me, they made it absolutely certain that I was not very welcome in that newsroom.
Okay.
So I just, there were not many media outlets at that time.
Yeah.
So you'd look for a job at the Standard or the Nation.
Yeah. Okay.
Others were like a weekly review.
Yeah.
But a small publication, so they were not hiring too many people.
All right.
So I gave up. I started a small business. It didn't work out well until my wife. I was living in my wife's house in Nyeri. Then my wife was transferred from Nyeri to Muranga. In Muranga, the Catholic Diocese of Muranga, that was Bishop Bishop Cairo.
Yes.
Bishop Cairo was a bishop in Muranga at that time.
Yes.
And used to have a department of social development. So I went there. I went with Wahome Mutai. I'm not a Catholic, but Wahome is a Catholic.
Yes.
And somehow he knew his way around the priests there. So I was given, small jobs happen pale, writing reports, visiting groups,
Yes.
social groups.
Yeah.
That is how I got back to working, at least earning something small.
Okay.
Yeah, by and by, I stayed there for about a year or two, and then Kirori come out. Then around that time, Kenneth Matiba bought the people.
Yes.
From Dedan. You remember?
Yes, I do.
Around that time, that is when Kenneth Matiba bought the people
Weekly.
The People Weekly.
Yes.
From Dedan Bogwa.
Yes.
As they were organizing themselves after some time, Kirori Kamau was appointed the managing editor. And then he came with Wahome Mutai to Muranga to take me, to tell me to come back so that I could work at the also, in the beginning, reluctant. Then they convinced me, no, you go back. You have to go back to the newsroom. You cannot stay here. So I went back.
Why were you reluctant?
You know, the way I had been treated, I was still not very happy with the media.
All right.
At that time, of course, it was still like struggling to get a foothold. And I had a family. I wanted to be sure of something that I could support my family with.
Okay.
But I agreed. I came back after they persuaded me. I came back. I joined the People as a reporter. Then after some time, Kamau Godho was the features editor. He left the paper and I was appointed the features editor.
Okay.
Then around 1998, the People Weekly went daily.
Yeah, I remember with George Bugus.
With George Bugus. George Bugus was the editor-in-chief. Even when I was joining the paper, George Bugus was. Yeah, you know, that time I was having it was a peculiar relationship between me and the editors. You know, this is a person who has come out of prison. They don't know how to treat me. They don't know.
Everyone was scared of you.
They were scared. No, they were scared. They didn't even know whether to assign me. They didn't think it was right for them to assign me for, these these assignments, news assignments.
Yes.
But me, I didn't mind. I don't know why they were like afraid. This was like they were afraid.
Yes.
But by and by, after some time, they saw that I didn't mind. I would go and do the assignment, come write my story, and that was it.
Yeah.
And Kamau Godho left. I was appointed the features editor. So when the people newspaper was going daily in 1998, I was the features editor.
Which year was this?
That was 1998.
Okay.
I was the features editor.
All right.
Then after a few months, the then managing editor was called Vitalis Musebe.
Yes, I remember Musebe.
Musebe left.
You would think they were leaving because you had arrived.
Like I was telling you the last time, I don't know how things will happen.
Yes.
The last time, the way I was absorbed as a staff reporter, the way they wanted me to go to Mombasa to be the bureau chief.
For Standard.
The way I was appointed bureau chief Nakuru. You know, those are things that were just coming.
Yes.
By surprise. It is the same thing that happened when I went at the People.
Yes.
Here I am now. I'm the managing editor.
Yes.
Of the People Daily. There was a managing editor of the People Daily and a managing editor for People on Sunday.
The two papers.
So there were two papers, the People Daily and the People on Sunday. So me, I was appointed the managing editor for Daily.
The Daily.
I can't remember who was the managing editor for Sunday at that time.
Mm.
Then after some time, George Bugus left. And I was appointed as our overall editor.
Yeah.
Everybody was,
That
maybe
was
I had stayed
interesting.
there.
And this is a
Maybe
guy,
I-
and this guy who had gone to, was it Greece? He had gone to Greece to study.
Yeah, I had gone
Was it
to
Greece
study
or was
and
it Turkey? Well,
no, Greece.
Greece. You had gone there
Yeah,
to study marketing,
Yes.
not
And here I
journalism.
am. Yeah.
Not journalism. And here you come back and you are going all over the place in journalism.
Yeah. Everybody's leaving the positions for me.
Living for you.
Maybe even the managing director would have left.
Mm.
For me. That time the managing director was Ivy Matiba.
Yes.
Ivy, yes. Maybe she would have left and
You would have gone there.
I would have gone there.
Anyway, she didn't leave, and here you are, the managing editor, and moving from reporter to features editor to managing editor to main person. How are you? I mean, were you comfortable each time you moved to the next level, or was it challenging?
Of course, it was very challenging. You remember, I had not been trained as a journalist in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah. I did not have a big name, a big name. I have written major stories. So even the people who are working under me would want to make me feel that they are bigger than me, Some of them had postgraduate certificates, like those who went to the University of Nairobi School of Journalism.
Yes.
Some of them, it was very difficult, to adjust, to make people know or believe that I was good
and you could
to be where I was. Yes.
And you did it.
So I did it, but I had to, work a lot, work very hard to convince them that I was not there, but I was there and I could do it. When I was appointed the editor-in-chief, there were a lot of problems, of course, the financial problem.
Yeah.
And then there was like corruption in the newsroom. And when I was appointed, it was made clear to me. I knew that my mission, the major thing I was to do, was to clean up the newsroom. That corruption image. It was difficult because the financially the paper was not doing very well. So sometimes the journalists we would go for quite some time without salaries. So and the people here, they have families, they have rent to pay, to educate their children. So we had a lot of difficulties, and here I am. I'm expected to make them work, to make them produce the best, a very good newspaper.
Yes.
But somehow we managed. I managed to convince people, let's work. And the kind of relationship that we had built, overall, the corporate relationship, the management and the rest of the staff. It was so nice. It was like a family. From the managing director down to the sweeper, we were a family. We worked like a family.
Yes.
We treated the paper.
I remember I worked there briefly. I remember I worked there briefly twice. And before I came there, I was with Royal Media. That is after leaving Nation. I was with Royal Media very briefly. Then Moi closed Royal Media, and we had to look for places. And I came to the people, and I worked.
You came?
Yeah, I came twice because after that I left a bit and came back again. And I remember how difficult it was without salaries. And there was there was what we would call ATM every Friday, where guys would go and get 500 or 1,000 bob every week just to keep them going.
It was difficult, but in fact, there was a time during Christmas that there was no money. There was absolutely no money. You know, we were not getting advertising. The government said we were blacklisted, like because of our associations, the kind of stories we were carrying. We were very bold.
I remember.
Yes, you remember. We were carrying stories that the other papers would not want to touch. So advertisers would shy away from us. I remember one time I had to organize a secret meeting with one of the senior most government officials, part of the government officials, a secret meeting where we could explore how we could get government advertising. Of compromise of our editorial policy.
Now, was this secret? To whom are you hiding from? From the government or from how? I mean, can you explain what you mean by secret?
You know, being the senior most editorial manager.
Yeah.
At the meeting, very senior government officials.
Yes.
It would have taken like I am compromising, the paper. But the situation was desperate, and the situation was desperate. Although it is, when I look back now, it would not have been so bad because the way I was supposed to coordinate. I was supposed to make sure that we are getting good stories, and we are also getting advertising.
Advertisement.
So
now, you may not have been getting advertisement from the government, but how are you not able to get advertisement from private companies? Were they also being threatened?
Not directly. They were not being told don't give the people newspaper adverts. But the atmosphere at that time, people were afraid to be seen to be associating with a paper that was exposing things, like exposing government, even Moi's bedroom. What happened in Moi?
Now, at one point, People Daily, or rather Paper Weekly, just before it went daily, it was very popular.
Yes.
The weekly, and it was selling up to 100,000 sometimes a week. 100,000 copies, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And that gave them the impetus, the courage to go daily.
Yes.
Do you think it was a good decision to go daily? Because after it went daily, those sales didn't continue.
They didn't continue. You see, the thing is, when we were weekly, people would buy the paper only once per week.
Yes.
But we are competing with the other newspapers like the Daily Nation and the Standard.
Yes.
There were some stories that were appearing in Nation that were not appearing in the People or in the other papers. It was a difficult decision that a buyer would make. The Nation had more pages. It had more stories. So value for money, they thought that it was better to buy the Nation on a daily basis than to buy the People and they forego the Nation on a daily basis. I think that was the logic. It was not a very good idea at that time to go daily. We should have stayed as a weekly until later.
Okay.
Although there were other factors that led to our newspaper not gaining, as much traction at that time as it was doing previously.
Okay.
In 1998, there was no longer anything to expose at State House. Everybody knew Moi.
Oh. So you had exposed everything.
State House was like everybody's, garden.
So you had exposed everything and there was no more secrets.
There was nothing.
Almost.
We didn't. By that time, it was very difficult to come with an exclusive story that there was before 1992. Before 1998. Yes. I remember a story we carried. It was written by Mwenda Joka about a trip Moi had taken with the Biwott and the other cabinet ministers.
Yeah.
And they had gone to Australia.
Australia.
Yeah,
the bull of Auckland.
The bull of Auckland, you know.
I remember. I remember that one. It took for a long time.
Remember that story? Yeah? That one.
Yes.
It sold the paper. It sold the paper. Those stories sold the paper. Although sometimes we walked a very thin line between libel and, between legality and illegality.
Yes. And factual.
And we were facing quite a few libel cases. So by the time we were going daily.
Yeah, quite a few. You mean very many.
Yeah, sure. So by the time we were going daily, there was nothing.
Okay, so Matiba bought the paper, and he had no control. He did not control what you guys were writing. He never came to read the what is the headline or call to see what's happening.
Yes.
You guys were left to do what you wanted to do.
Kenneth Matiba was a very unusual media owner. He never, even all the time that I was the managing editor, the overall boss, editorial boss, he never at any time told me to write this story or not to write this story. Never. We would meet. I normally went to Mombasa to meet with him.
Yeah.
We would discuss broad policies, broad things. But he would never say, "Don't write a story about Moi. Why did you write this story about so and so?" He would never say that. Excuse me.
Sorry.
He would just allow us to write the stories that you are writing. He would allow us to publish. His concern, actually, his biggest concern was whether the paper was being read by the people down there, the farmers. And he would tell me, how can we publish a paper that is going to reach the small people down there, the farmers, the workers in the offices, people who may not be able to benefit from the way the paper is now. Write about agriculture, write about health issues that will benefit the people.
Yes.
He would have wanted for us to publish a Kiswahili paper. Yeah, that was his desire. A paper in a language that the ordinary person would understand. Kiswahili. Yeah, just like Macharia, there's the media. What is it called? This citizen man.
Citizen, yeah.
Just like he has done. Yeah, to start vernacular stations. That would have been the desire of Kenneth Matiba.
So that is as far as being your boss was concerned. How about you? How about your involvement in liberation and his activity as a politician? Did it in any way converge, or did you work together, or it was just business as an editor and a media owner?
No, we were very good friends. I would go to Mombasa and spend days there. He wants me to be there. We had a lot in common to discuss. So after maybe one day, the first day we would meet over the newspaper. Then the rest of the days, he doesn't want me to go back to Nairobi. He wants me to talk.
You want to, yeah. So what were you doing after that? After talking about the newspaper, what were you doing?
We were just discussing general things,
laughing,
remembering so and so, remembering this. You know, he used to have a lot of stories. And very, very, very hilarious. And being older than me, he used to teach me a lot of things about the past.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are before you are taken, or when you are taken in by the guys who came to your office in Nakuru, and you thought they were giving you a scope. They were collecting you because of your political activities. Can you tell us about that? How did these political activities start with you?
Oh, my political, you know, I'm coming. I became politically aware when I was young. I was born during the colonial days. In fact, I was born like a year after the state of emergency was declared.
That should be
a lot of my.
That should be 1953.
Yeah, that is when I was born. You remember the state of emergency was declared in 1952.
Yes.
And I'm coming from the from where most of the Mau Mau soldiers were coming from.
Nyeri and company.
Kimathi, Washiori, and all those Mathenge, Meroge, all those people, Karadi Jama. So many of the allies, you know, they were coming from my village and the villages surrounding us.
Like what village? Can you mention the village?
My village?
Yeah.
Oh, my village is called Gathuthi. Gathuthi. Yeah, it's about, Gathuthi. It's about 2 kilometers from the forest. Before you get into the forest, you go to Ihide. On the other side, you go to Tobero.
Which forest? Which forest is this? Mount Kenya forest? Abadeas.
Yes.
Okay.
Abadeas, yes.
All right.
We used to walk to the forest. It's very near. It's very near. My brother was a poacher, and they used to go into the forest.
Okay.
But that was up. So what you are saying is about, you know, those early days when I became exposed to you know, liberation things. My uncle was one of the people who went into the forest, and he was detained. So when I was a small boy, I went to see him. You know, the system of releasing a detainee at that time is that you are in a certain detention camp. So before you are released completely to your home, they used to bring you to work at the local chief's center. So when my uncle was working at the local chief's center, we went there, me and my brother and my sister. I was a small kid then. It must have been around, it was about 4 or 5 years, or even younger. I can't remember the exact year.
Yes.
But I remember that time. We went to see my uncle. He was very happy, you know, seeing his nephews and nieces, you know.
Yeah.
He was there. I remember he gave us 50 cents. 50 cents. He gave us 50 cents.
That must have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. I remember that particularly because it was 1 50 cents coin.
Yes.
So my brother, because my brother is older than me and my sister.
Yeah.
So they colluded.
They
colluded. They went and looked for change for that 50 cents.
Yeah.
So they had 2 10-cent coins.
All right.
And 2 5-cent coins.
Yeah.
No, they had 4 10-cent coins.
Yeah.
To make 40 cents. For 4 10-cent coins and 2 5-cent coins. So my brother got 2 10-cent coins and my sister, and was given the 5-cent coins.
Yeah.
So they are telling me, you see, we are equal. You have 2. I have 2. I remember that.
You still remember it?
I still remember. and also we used to sing a lot of freedom songs.
Yeah. Now, what did you do with that money? Do you remember what you did with the money?
Of course, we bought sweets. My mother wanted my mother to know that we had gone there.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you used to sing freedom songs.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that I became aware very early in my life.
Yes.
And quite a lot of the people who had gone to the forest from my village and the surrounding villages. I used to know them as I grew up. And I was also aware, you know, even during Kenyatta's time, I was very much aware of what was happening.
What was happening?
Somehow, I was very interested in what was happening politically as I grew up. Like I was telling you the other time, one of my role models was Goge Wadiongo.
Yes.
And you remember the development of Goge Wadiongo from writing general novels to ideologically leaning books, like you know, A Grain of Wheat. You know, those were the books that had some ideological thread. So as I grew up, I dropped my name, the name I had been baptized. I dropped it completely from my, you know, my school records are containing the baptism name.
Your baptism name.
Yes, but when I dropped that name,
which we don't know up to now.
You don't need to know. It's not. It's not mine. It's not my name.
All right. It's no longer your name.
And I don't. Yeah.
It's no longer your name.
Yeah, it is no longer my name. So when I grew up and started working, at some point I was given a job. It was after Kenyatta died. We changed. The country changed the identification cards. You know, the identification system of to a new one.
Yes, I remember.
ID.
So
I was one of those who were giving. I was one of those who are giving those IDs. So I made sure that my baptism name did not appear in the new ID.
Yeah. Whatever it was, whether it was Ezekiel, James, John, whatever
it was, I erased it.
All right.
So my primary, secondary documents are containing that name.
All right.
After secondary school, no other document contains that name. So you'd think that Mugo Theuri and that other person are two different persons.
Okay.
Yeah?
So you have certificate of somebody else, primary certificate of somebody else.
Yes. Because it is a name. It's a name that is not appearing in my ID or in my passport.
So when you are mixing with the university students, the comrades, those who are out there for, you know, fighting for second liberation, you really felt with them, you really felt at home, and that's why you are working with them. And what exactly,
I was very much.
What were you exactly doing for them or with them?
Oh, we would exchange ideas. We would exchange. I would read some of the materials that were circulating. And also being young, I think I was the youngest in the newsroom at that time, in the standard newsroom. And I was being assigned to functions that involved the young people. So I was meeting, we were exchanging, I was receiving some of those documents that were circulating at that time.
Yeah.
Also, and also I was living with the Jugona Mutahi was very, very, he was good.
Jugona, that is Whisper's brother.
Yeah, Whisper's brother, younger brother. When he was at the university, he was very active in student politics, in liberation, you know, activities.
Yeah.
And we were living together. We were living together in Umoja with Wahome.
Okay.
So I could not avoid And others also who are living in Umoja, young people. So we would sometimes converge in a bar. That bar was very popular with at the Nyayo house. Yeah? So those guys would see you are going to this and that bar with so and so, with so and so, with so and so. You know, they knew it was very well known at Nyayo house by the interrogators.
Which bar was this?
So, we used to call it Soweto.
Soweto in Umoja.
Soweto.
Where was it in Umoja?
I don't know. Yeah?
Where was it?
It was in Umoja 1.
Ah.
P. It was in P. That section called P. Yeah.
Okay. So you were arrested and you were questioned about those guys. You were taken to court. You were sentenced to 4 years. And you went 5.5, which was reduced because
5.5.
5.5. But it was reduced.
5.5.
Yeah, it was reduced to, you call it remission. You reduced to 3 years.
Yeah, the 5.5, it was 4 years for one count and 1.5 years for the second count. The two sentences were to run concurrently.
Yeah,
so effectively, I was to serve 4 years. But when you go to prison, you serve 2/3 of your sentence.
Okay.
So it came to around 3 years.
Recently, I saw a Facebook post which you and former colleagues were visiting Nyayo House chambers. For what reason were you doing
that?
For what reason were you doing that?
You see, we always visit Nyayo House on February 18. February 18 was the day Kimathi was murdered. Was hanged. You can say hanged, but he was actually murdered. So to remember Kimathi, we normally go to Nyayo House, the torture chamber.
Okay.
Yes. And one of the movements around the Mwakanya era was called February 18th movement.
Because of that date.
Yes. It was being led by people like Professor Maina Kenyate. February 18th. Yes.
Okay. So this group that visits Nyayo House, is it an organized group? Is it you people kind of communicate and come together and visit, or is it an association? What happens? And are they only the former detainees, or even with their families they go, or what happens?
We like to encourage members of the public to go there and see, because we have talked about it so many times, and some people may not know how it looks like. So we encourage, although we have some organizations like Mashujaa Heritage, there are quite a number of organizations representing the former detainees.
Okay.
But it's not a day for detainees, or it is a public. It's a day that we encourage the public to go and view the cells. Okay. They're still there.
So those chambers are still intact?
Not intact. The government, when Moi knew that he was going to be defeated, around 1991, they tried to pull down, to destroy the cells. But they were told by experts that if you dare, then this building will be in jeopardy. It can collapse. It can collapse if you destroy those cells. So the cells are still there. So you can see attempts to defend them, but the cells are still there.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So when did you stop? When did you leave journalism, or when? Okay, a journalist always a journalist, but when did you stop working at the People?
I stopped working in 2009.
Okay.
I stopped in 2000. I retired, actually. I retired in 2009.
2009. So 2010, you're already out. And what are you doing now?
Oh, I'm doing a lot of things. Like yesterday, I went to, we had a procession.
Yeah.
Where we were taking a petition to the president to make sure that the TJRC report is acted upon. The Truth, Justice, Conciliation report.
Okay.
Because the report was released. It's It was the report of a commission that was paid for, organized and paid for by the government, by public funds.
Yes.
Yet the report has not been, nobody bothers to look at it anymore. And then some time back, President Uhuru Kenyatta announced that he was setting aside 10 billion shillings as reparations for those who had suffered injustices in the past, from the Mau Mau days. Those who suffered in 2007, 2008 political violence, and even those violence episodes in informal settlements. People who have been killed by the police.
Okay.
You know, that 10 billion was to cater for them. Cater for those people. You know, some of them are dying. They have not, there's no closure. Some of them are dying without closure, with the pain, with the knowledge that their government is like their government does not. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bit of wind, but it's okay. Now, what I was saying, some of these people are very old. Some of them have died without, you know, there's still hope that the government was going to recognize that they suffered. And they were going to pay at least something, resettled. Those who are chased away from the Rift Valley, they would have, resettled, at least leave their families comfortable. But it is like the government abandoned them. So we were very happy when the president announced the 10 billion shillings fund.
Yeah.
But let's go 2, 3, 4 years, nobody is bothering about it. We don't know whether the money was released at E10. You know, the kind of corruption that has been going on. So we don't know whether the money was released and eaten by some sharks within the government, like those who ate the Kimathi and Aror dams. So that,
there was also money for BBI, so you never know.
You never know. You know, even cancer. You know, people are very excited when money is coming out because they know this money is meant for the poor. They are the ones who never reaches the poor. Those dams would have benefited very many people within the Rift Valley. But what happened?
So this petition, whom did you present? Where was the demo and when did you present it? Who did you present?
We presented office of the president.
Yesterday.
Yesterday we went to the office of the president.
Who is we? Who is we?
It was like a demonstration. It was a large group. A procession from Jivaji Garden with the police escort. It was a very, a lot of.
Maybe I missed that one because I think the major demo I remember was where some women were defending some mother who had been called names.
Yeah, of course, ours would not have been. It is not exciting to the press, but it was a very important message that we were delivering to the president.
I know. So. This can you tell us very briefly what was this report all about? The Truth and Reconciliation, for those who may not be aware.
After the 2007, 2008 violence that came after the
elections,
the elections of the 2007 elections.
Yeah,
the government established a commission.
Yes.
To probe the violence, the grievances, historical injustices, and they came up with a report that injustices back to the Mau Mau days, the post pre-independence days, and they recommended what to be done. Some of the important issues have not been addressed. The report is lying somewhere in the office of the president.
Is this the same as Kriegler report?
Kriegler came, he had his own mandate, his own points of reference. Then there was this one was at Bethel Kiplagat.
Okay, all right. So apparently from journalism, you now went to, what do you call it, human rights
Activist.
issues?
No, human rights. You know, even before even when I was in journalism, I was still the human rights was still a very important topic to me.
For you, yeah.
And that is why even being jailed, that was my contribution to human rights, defense.
Okay.
Because what we were complaining about was the dictatorship that denied people Kenyans their human rights.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So when you are not presenting petitions or being those in human rights area, you're also building libraries for school.
Yeah, for a school. I'm a member. I'm a board member. I'm the vice chairman.
Yeah.
Of the board management of a high school here. It's called the Dedan Secondary School.
Here is where?
I like it.
Juja.
I do a lot of. No, yeah, we are in Juja constituency.
Yes.
So the school is in Juja constituency.
Yeah.
And I'm the vice chairman of the board.
Okay.
A new board is coming in, but the library that is still there. We are still going on. Even if I'm not going to be appointed a board member again, I'm still going to continue.
To continue what?
Yeah.
Having.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the school again?
Dedan Secondary School.
Dedan
Secondary School.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Sorry.
I do a lot of community voluntary work.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be very bored. You know, a retired person just sitting around. Retirement. I think retirement for us is not just going and sitting. It is a change of routine, you know.
A change of routine, of course, sure.
And therefore, and you can give more service to the community and so on.
Yes, yeah, sure. I also do a bit of farming. Even here, you can see my fruit trees.
Yeah, I can see them. I'll come for some fruit when they are ready. That's a nice compound you have.
Yeah, I do a lot of work. Like you, after this, I'm going to water the trees.
Oh yeah. I remember yesterday when I called you, you said you had been busy watering the plants.
Yeah, I was watering the plants. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I remember. I promised to bring you some of my books. The promise is still there, and we are going to arrange how. I don't think I will send them. I'll bring them myself. So maybe I can speak to the students.
Yeah, you can come. You come. We will go and speak to the students. I'll arrange with the principal.
Yeah.
When you tell me you're coming, I'll arrange with the principal so that we can go and you talk to them, to the students. It's very good.
Yeah, that's great.
It is very bad.
Yeah.
When we complain about the education system, but we are not doing anything.
You're right.
Make a small contribution.
You have to, like Wangari Maathai used to say, you have to play your part like the hummingbird.
I gave the same example yesterday, by the way.
Wow, you did.
After presenting the petition,
yes,
I had discussions that in which we were commemorating the assassination of one of my colleagues in the freedom struggle. He was called Karemi Ndudu.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
He was living at Rirota, and he was killed. He was the Secretary General of the political prisoners pressure group.
I remember.
So yesterday we were commemorating the day he was killed.
Yes.
And then there was a lecture. There were not a lecture. It was there were discussions. So I was given an opportunity to talk. And they decided, they are young now. It's another generation that has taken up the mantle.
Yes.
So I was telling them I was telling them it may not be possible for us to change the world in one day or in one generation.
Yes.
You have to be like the hummingbird.
Yes.
Drop by drop. the way the country is now is not the same way it was in 1986.
It is totally different.
You are jailed in 1986. By 1992, the pressure was so much on Moi that he could not resist. So he changed the Section 2A was removed. The Section 2A was banning the opposition parties. So now we had multi-party democracy, and so many other things were changed. So as I was telling them, if they do their bit now, the children will enjoy what they did during their time, and they also examples to their children.
It's true. It's true.
So when you say about that,
it's true.
It's a very good Gary said.
Yeah. It is, you add something, you're always adding something because that's your part anyway.
Yes.
So we've done almost an hour. I'm glad Zoom did act up as I suggested. Yeah, I think it happens one of those times when nakwambia umefanya 40 minutes inakata. Lakini leo they knew we are finishing, though it didn't do it.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you have a final word so that we can wind up the show. And again for coming to the show. Yes.
So what I was saying, is about voluntary community work.
Yeah.
You know, where I am now as a retired journalist, I'm not very busy. And there is a lot of things that I feel that I can contribute to the community.
It's true.
Even here, we had a big problem here where when this highway, the Vika Superhighway was being constructed, and they had directed quite a lot of water towards our houses. So I organized the neighbors here, and we petitioned the government. We did a lot of work petitioning the government to try and direct the water elsewhere. Otherwise, we would not be. I would not be proud of a small compound of mine.
Which water are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which water was this?
The water that the storm drained, the water when it rained. Yes.
Oh,
yeah, the drainage was directed towards our area. And there's a lot of water coming from the highway, coming from the other side of the highway, and then it is directed in one or two culverts, and the water is coming to our houses. So we petitioned the government that we were able to divert the water to Roiro River.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we tried to organize the neighborhood here into a neighborhood association.
Okay.
It's only that we have there are too many flats here. It is not possible to organize people who are living in flats.
How come?
It's not easy. And then
because even within that flat, there are strangers among themselves.
They are strangers among themselves, and they don't want to associate too much with they are aloof. If there is a shortage of water in that house they are living in, they will just move to another house where there is water. But not,
if they were permanent, if they are permanent, then they will have to think otherwise.
Yeah. Even like me, I can't move from here, so I have to fight until that water comes back.
Okay, Mugo Theuri, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you again after speaking to you in the first episode, and now this, and we've learned quite a bit about your background, your association with the forests and Mau Mau and everything else, and it's quite enriching knowledge that many people don't know about. And I would thank you again for appearing on this show. And as I promised, very soon I'm going to get in touch with you so that I can present some of my books to you.
Yeah, sure. I would be very happy. I'm also very happy. This one letting out my, talking about it. It also releases some of the tensions within me.
It's true.
It's talking about the things that have happened to you.
Yes. And it does good to everybody, to yourself and the people who are listening, who can now know exactly what was happening to you and other people. and the country as well.
Yes. I'm trying to write my book. I've not finished. I have started,
Yeah.
but I've not finished. Some of these things will come out in the book.
Yes.
But the message is weightier when it is coming from the mouth than when you are reading it.
I know.
A book is a bit in,
yeah.
you know, when you are seeing the person, it's very different.
I know, and we are looking forward to eventually when you complete the book. We are looking forward to maybe read the manuscript or even the book when it's published.
Yeah.
So, asante sana Mugo, and tutakutana soon when I organize myself and call you for the presentation.
Yes.
But thank you again for coming to BLISS OASIS Africa, and we are still there. Bado tutaonana pale pale, Mungu akipenda.
Oh, thanks a lot, Patrick. It's good when there always things that I have a good story to tell.
Yeah, but you do. You do, we all do have stories. So thank you very much. Tuko pamoja, and we'll meet soon again. Thank you very much. God bless.
God bless you too.
Yeah.